got up like 2 hours ago and I haven't been able to go back to sleep. Also, I have a headache, which doesn't really help. Oops. Yeah, I took some melatonin, it doesn't work. Sleep has been really bad recently. But what else is new? It's been like that for a while. Yeah, I had some water, I took headache drugs. Hasn't really worked yet. I could get prescription sleeping pills, but I feel like... Oops. Oh, whatever. I feel that, like, depression and the sleeping meds probably don't go super well together. Or maybe they go too well together. Or just get Ambien and then go on the internet and be really racist. That's how that works, right? Melatonin doesn't have any warnings on it because it's practically worthless. If anything, it's almost worse than doing nothing about it because it gives you this false hope that, like, it's actually going to do something. I'm awake because I can't sleep. God, I swear, anybody who's like, oh, I took these melatonin and now I got knocked out. Gotta be a liar. This stuff is worthless. Oops. Tried that ZZZ Quill stuff at some point. It's not good. Tastes bad. Doesn't work. For a while, the weighted blanket was alright, but recently that doesn't really seem to do anything anymore. Because it seemed like you could turn the air conditioning up a little bit and then use the weighted blanket in conjunction with the normal blanket and just get like super snug, and that was okay, but body's like, nope. Done with that. This thing's working too well, we have to stop it. Did I mess that up? That could have been better. Let me see. Oh, no, that's fine. Oops. Ugh. Wish this headache went away. No, my last coffee was at like 11 a.m. Maybe 11:30. Crap. Ah, no. Damn it. No, messed that up. Oh, crap. Does Benadryl make me sleepy? Not really. I mean, I tried the Benadryl derivative they make specifically for sleep, and it was not great. Like, it might have been better than not taking it, but it was not a major difference. I don't know if it's the antidepressants or stuff eating at me or what. Oops, there we go. Guess that works. Whatever. That's like 7 maybe. Okay, good enough. Sorry for not having real streams up for a while. This year has been pretty bad for that, I realize. How is it already August? God. It's ridiculous. Oops. Did I need that blue? No, I didn't. Oops. Okay, might have needed that. Yeah. Guess that's fine. Crap. It's fine. Yeah, good enough. God, my brain is weird. Everything's just been like feeling off for a while. I don't really know what it is. If it's the antidepressants or what. I could go there, but then we have to do that and that. Okay. Oh, were you looking for that, cool man? That's too bad. That's almost as devastating a loss as when I found out that the belly rumbling video playlist got deleted. Which I think was probably someone's fetish, but got a kick out of it. Oops. It's not really what I want. Oh, crap. That's a risk. Crap! Ah, oh, damn it, wrong piece. Oh god, really? That should be fine. Oh, wait, it's not. Okay, that should be fine. Wait, no, that's... Oops. Forgot what color is for a second. Okay, that should be fine. There we go. It's been a while since I've played Puyo, huh? Or done much of anything. Hope I'm doing well. Thanks. Been better, but what else is new? Damn, crap. Uh-oh. Yeah, I lost. Yeah. Guess that's okay. Okay. I need that. I need that. And then I need a green on it. And then on that I need... Oops. Nah, just ruined the whole thing. Alright. Whatever. Whatever, whatever. Yeah, I still have the fight stick. I haven't used it for anything in a while. Sorry. Just file it under the category of stuff I had good intentions for, but then never got around to doing enough of. File cabinet's sort of overflowing, but just cram it in, it'll fit eventually. Okay. Yeah. Then that. Nope. 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 Yeah, screw it. I can't put that there. Haven't gotten past level 4 yet, have I? Should work on that. Yeah. Gotta take a break from Monster Hunter. The main theme is... not the main theme, but the town theme is like burrowing a hole in my brain. I keep hearing it. Doesn't help that it's also incredibly repetitive. Thanks, Ta. You're neato, too, I guess. Oh, god damn it. Oh, Jesus. That was certainly level 1. At some point I'm gonna go back to bed, or try to. Not sure when that is. It's one of those, like, quote quote-unquote sleep hygiene things. Right? It's like, oh, if you can't sleep, get out of bed for a bit. Do stuff. I don't know if this counts as doing stuff, but... I think that's what they say. Because you're not supposed to, like, associate being in bed with anything other than sleeping. So when you go to bed, it's supposed to, like, train your brain to kick into sleep mode or something. But, I don't know. You associate bed with masturbating. I mean, it might help you get to sleep. Not here to judge. Oops. Hey, I didn't say that. That's not words of advice from me. That's just words of advice from other people that I have been told when I say that I cannot sleep. God damn it, Percy Callus. It's not Main Street, though, it's 5th Street. Please, get your Vice City quotes right. Hey, X-Keeper. Guess I can go there. Insomnia Puyo was not good, Puyo. Oh god, what have I done? Uh-oh. Yeah, good enough. Oops. Thought that green was gonna be on there. But it's not. Kind of reminds me that I've been meaning to replay GTA 4 at some point. Yeah, I guess I can go there. I ended up watching a chunk of playthrough on YouTube. It seems kind of a lot worse than I remember it being, though. Yeah, I guess I can go there. These are not good chains. It's the best I can do at 4 AM. Oh god, do they have anime model swaps for that? The only thing I remember about GTA 4 is, like, the fact that you had to, like, authenticate it with Steam, and then you had to authenticate it with Games for Windows Live, and then you had to authenticate it with the Rockstar Social Club, but I don't even know what the password for half those things are anymore. God knows how that even works at this point. God, the MIDI radio project is so incredibly stalled. Grad school is just eating me alive. I need a purple. I think that's fine. Is it my last year of grad school? Probably not. It depends how the research goes. Where did the decision for a weighted blanket come from? God, I don't know. I saw it somewhere on the internet and it seemed like a neat thing to try. Like, at the very least, even if it doesn't help me sleep that much better, it might feel neat, so... I'll give it a go. Oops. Screwed that up. It's a blanket with heavy stuff sewn into it. It's supposed to help you sleep, I think. I think they were originally marketed for people with autism or something. I forget exactly what the purpose or like how the correlation works there, like what that's supposed to achieve. And then it's like, oh, this also works for anxiety and depression, I guess. And they just found out that everyone likes being squished in bed, so... Weighted blankets for everybody. Does it work? I feel like it used to when I first got it, and now it doesn't anymore. I just sleep like garbage regardless of what I'm trying to do. Or how tired I'm. Whoops. Oh. Out of fake money. I'll get you next time, Draco. Life. You found an antidepressant that works. Oh yeah? Which one is that? Crap. Fluoxetine. Aw, man. That's not even cool. It's not even like a hip new antidepressant. I tried Prozac, it did not work. It just gave me upset stomachs. That was the first one I tried. It's also the one that we used in the lab a lot for, like your generic, here's a known, proven antidepressant control. Yeah, bupropion is weird, because at one point... See, I've tried bupropion, like, God, 4 different times. Because at first, it seemed like it was kind of working. Like, I doubled up on my bupropion dose at some point. And when I did that... Oh, I screwed this up. Like, I honestly felt like for a solid week was, like, vaguely euphoric, and it was actually kind of really pleasant. And then after that, it just wore off, and I never had that again. And... you know, I went to higher doses, which like, completely put me out of it. So much so that my boss noticed and had to talk to him about all that and what was going on. But like, because it worked really well, as far as I could tell that one time, every time I would see somebody, it's like, well, I tried this and it kind of worked. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's try this other formulation. Let's try the immediate release, or this other variation of the extended release, or this different generic, or whatever. And it never worked that well again. Around 60 milligrams of fluoxetine. I forget what I used to take for fluoxetine. Now I'm on 100 grams of desvenlafaxine, which is just an upgraded effexor. I don't like it that much. I don't know. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to continue. It's weird. I feel a lot more disconnected for some reason. But it's one of these things where you just don't feel like touching it right now. Because you don't want to have to deal with just getting off. I know it's early o'clock, I can't sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, X-Keeper. Let me know if I could help. But, I feel like I zone out a lot more on the, desvenlafaxine. The Prestique is the brand name. It's especially noticeable when I'm actually trying to sleep because my brain like kicks into this weird overdrive mode where it starts like throwing a bunch of stuff at me at once. And then eventually you collect yourself and it's like, wait, none of that is real, none of it happened. For some reason you're all worked up about things that don't actually exist. If that makes any sense at all. It's really tricky to explain, but it seems like it's been getting more pronounced on this. And then, like, you snap back to reality and realize, like, whatever you have concocted in the past, like, 5 or 10 minutes is not real and it doesn't matter. But it's just sort of loopy. Yeah, it's an SNRI. In the lab, get to mess with all the new antidepressants that work better and faster, but I can't have them. Because they've not been tested yet. Womp womp. Oh, am I gonna regret that? Yeah, I am. That wouldn't surprise me. The world at large exacerbating depression. Should just go back to beginner mode. Yeah. Well, it's not exactly... I mean, yeah, they typically try you on an SSRI first, before they move on to bupropion or something. Like, usually, it's kind of like Prozac first, and then if that doesn't work for you, they try something else, but... bupropion also has a few other components to it. Like, it's used for smoking cessation. It's, like, vaguely related to Ritalin, sort of. Like, it's much weaker, but it's got similar effects in some ways at certain doses. It's also used a lot for smoking cessation. The best part about bupropion, even though it didn't really work super well for depression in long term, was that... Oops. Was that I didn't have to eat on it, which was great. All of a sudden it was like, wow, I don't need food. I don't know what happened, but I'm just not hungry anymore at all. Which was, like, the only time in recent memory I had weighed like 140 something. Now I just don't eat because I'm depressed. It's different. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine if, you know, you thought about it, you could probably draw a lot of similarities between the chronic stress protocol we use for depression in the lab and chronic modern life stressors. Now, whether or not they've always been here, and it's seeming like a more common problem because we're looking for it and diagnosing it more often is a different question, but there's probably a lot of that to it. That was pretty good. Also, no, having like a lot of antidepressant experience does not make you your psychiatrist's friend. If anything, it's like, well, have you considered ECT? The answer is yes, and then I said no, I don't actually want that. Trying to experience as few convulsions in my life as I could manage, thank you. ECT is electroconvulsive therapy. You go under anesthesia and then they zap you, and it works. I guess. Not super excited about that. How much effect does vitamin D have on emotions? Not a lot. Like, if your vitamin D levels are low, could it hurt to bring them back up? No. Is it probably the cause of your depression? Probably not. Like, there's some tangential relationship between vitamin D and mood, but it's not like, well, my major depression went away because I drank more milk, got out in the sun. That was something that I tried at some point. Because everybody, or like everybody who works inside in a lab or something all day, I had low vitamin D, among other things. The thyroid thing I was really hoping would have fixed the issue, but it just made it worse. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I'm being a big baby about it, but social media, I feel, also kind of exacerbates things. Where you just end up seeing everyone else's nice, curated life, and you're like, "Aw, what's wrong with me?" That's why I stream, to remind you that everything is terrible. In case you somehow forgot. Oops. Wait, if I pop that... Okay, I think that's fine. Oh god, hang on. It's a sentence. Have I observed the transgenerational epigenetic inherited effect of glucocorticoids and other stress hormones due to increased stress levels during pregnancy? Me, personally? No, not really. That's not a thing that I focus on too much. When I'm breeding up mice for use in behavior experiments, it's not really a factor that I consider. That being said, it's probably not too bad because, like the latest cohort of animals that I bred up, are all fine. I mean, I don't really have any reason to believe that the mothers were especially stressed, but all the baseline behavior for reward, oops, all comes out fine. In fact, like if anything, it's better than it usually is. They're all very happy animals, which is good. Oh, can you get that sentence in American? It was essentially... Glucocorticoids are stress hormones, corticosterones and whatnot, and the question was more or less like, if you have increased expression or production of stress hormone or hormones in the mother, if they affect gene expression in the mother animal in such a way that it'll be passed into the offspring and then give those animals impaired stress responses or deficits in reward-seeking behavior. I don't really do a lot with epigenetics, so... does that blue go there? I don't remember. But, yeah, that's... Our lab isn't really a genetics lab. It's just neuroscience. Electrophysiology. Somebody that either I spoke to or I went to a talk about or something, it was a while ago. Later the next keeper. Sleep well. Good luck. Let me know if I could help with anything. Was looking through, I forget, it was like a correlation between something with the flood of hormones and pregnancy and depression. Forget exactly what their research was. But we only work with male mice, or I only work with male mice because female mice have different behavior and different stress tolerances and susceptibilities, and it makes it kind of wonky. Like the NIH and a lot of other people that'll write you grants now are kind of pushing this idea that your studies should focus on both male and female animals. That being said, it makes things infinitely more complicated for us just because they respond differently. And I don't know, it just makes things trickier, I guess. Oops. No, I haven't done any mooks. That is a term I've not heard in a long time. There you go. Why do I smell peanut butter? That Haven't had peanut butter here in months. Oops. I don't know, Ta. In a lot of ways, I feel like I don't want to think more about biology than I have to. God, this decreased Twitch delay is still surreal. Do my stream. I don't know. Maybe to some extent. I don't know how easily we'd be able to tell. I'm sure if you look at, like, EEG experiments, you could probably find maybe something. But in the same way where you could, like, watch your dog sleep and see it, like, twitch and move around and assume, like, oh, it's sleeping. Or dreaming. I don't think I've ever seen that in mice. Crap. Did not mean to put that there. Oops. I don't know if I've ever had a lucid dream. Like, when I've read descriptions about them, that doesn't quite seem like anything I've had. Like, I'll have a lot of dreams that I remember, and they're all weirdly detailed. God, I wonder if I could pull one up recently that I had. You can't pause this game because it's an arcade thing. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. Can't see that one. What is this? God, I don't even remember writing this. Apparently I had this one last Friday. It doesn't even seem all that exciting. I write down my dreams sometimes, only if I think they're especially interesting, but I don't write them down in like a journal. I mostly just frantically message them to somebody. And then I just have a record of that somewhere. This one just says, I had a dream I was in New York City and I was in a hotel and I decided to stream, and then I was like, oh, it's weird how this hotel doesn't have a Bible. But then I looked in the drawer and it had the Family Guy Bible, which I thought was just about the show, but it was actually the Bible written entirely in Family Guy cartoons. And I laughed, and then I went to a play and drank a little bit, and then went to a restaurant and was playing Sonic, and then the cops came and told me I had to go to court, and I was angry, and I had recorded it all. I don't know what that means. And then the next day, my parents and I went to the same restaurant, and it was okay, whatever that means. And I asked the guy why the cops are going to arrest me, and it was because they never gave me my ticket or court summons, and apparently it was for another friend who was smoking weed at our dinner table and not for me, and I was relieved, and then I woke up. Bye. I do remember this dream now. Okay. Yeah, that was last Friday. This is from somebody else. This one says, I had a dream where I went to therapy, sort of, but it was in a different place, and they just gave me a room with a lot of different cosplay outfits to see which one I'd go for, but I was too embarrassed to wear any. Then the rest of the therapy group came in, and I won a scooter and an earring worth $1,000 that broke. This one just says, I had a dream I went to France and burned down my historic hotel accidentally. That's it. It's one sentence. This one just says, I had a dream I don't know. I had a dream before that one where I think my grandma wasn't dead anymore. Wait, can I read? Yeah. I had a dream kids came over to trick-or-treat at my house, but it was Christmas, Halloween. Okay, it's Christmas, Halloween. So I had all these little boxes of chocolates, but I thought, wait, let me make chocolate dessert avocado toast stuff for them, and the kids' parents pulled up, and I'm like, oh god, I didn't even start. How do I do this? And then before my mom had an avocado chocolate dessert toast made already, but I kept touching it, and then the avocado got brown, and I decided to throw it out and make it fresh, but I couldn't figure out how. I had a dream about moving from my old house and getting dogs. Very cute dogs who love me. That was the next sentence. This one's nice, but I can't read it. Let's see. This is from the end of June. I had a dream I was buying a secondhand iPad for my SAD, I think that means dad, at a Best Buy in New York City, again, that I'd gawk around in at some times with friends, but then some kids were talking about fighting games, and I said like, yeah, I'll just do some quarter circle heavy kick thing, and then the Best Buy cashier came over and was very mad and arrested me, and kicked me out of the store and said I'd be arrested if I ever went back. So then I was yelling at her and making a scene outside. Then I was wandering around a bit, and I think I found this tunnel in New York City that the Japanese dug during World War II to secretly invade, but it was very steep and angled upwards, but it was still underground. And they figured, the people, like the New York City mayor and people, figured that it was made well enough to turn it into a subway tunnel, so we climbed up to get into the subway, but it turns out that it was actually a bunch of seats on a track made of stone, and we'd be launched back down the tunnel in these stone seats due to gravity as some sort of carnival ride or whatever. But as the car started moving down the track, I don't know what happened, but the city started collapsing constantly. Buildings and roads and stuff. This next sentence. Then for some reason it turned into Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I passed by the Best Buy I was banned from again, and Ed, 1D, was writing his name on the sidewalk, and Eddie came over and said, oh, with everything falling apart, you should hide your name in the building cracks. So then as I start to walk home or to school, I don't remember, I see Ed just drilling holes in the wall, stuffing little chunks of paper in it with his name written on them, and then he's caught and taken to the principal's office and has to write an apology on the blackboard a bunch. And then this says, before all that happened, I think after the Best Buy incident, but before the subway, I go to work and then have to go somewhere else in the lab, but I pass by an auditorium and try to pass through the aisles of seating, but they're holding a class there, so I can't go past and get stuck and have to sit through it. and it was weird. I can't remember a thing, but I remember people in bad accents role-playing something like some artsy class, and I get stuck in an empty seat between some guy and his girlfriend, and I'm kind of squished in there, which sucks, especially because they didn't want me around and kept talking around me. Eventually they just get up and the class ends. I forget how that plays into the rest of the dream. Maybe it was before I got kicked out of the Best Buy. The end. This one just says, I had dreams, most of which I forgot. I had a dream I was making cookies as a surprise, and I wasn't nearly done with them or ironing out the recipe yet, so I didn't make a lot. And my dad comes down and is all, "Oh, cookies, let's see here," and takes them out before they're done, and they look horrible, and calls everyone down to try them, and they all think they're mediocre and undercooked. And I'm like, no, stop, I didn't finish. What the hell is this? Oh my god, this is just a gigantic sentence. I had a dream about a Simpsons episode, but I forgot what happened, and then it morphed into finding my dad in the jungle, but it was indoors in Vietnam, but it was too late. And then I found my dog who was stuck in the geometry on a ledge in the building, and a bunch of people came into the building, and we made a new Paper Mario game in like 2 days with a lot of new art assets and worked very, very hard to do it. And then we made a big round trip train ride that went through the jungle and up to the ledge where the dog was, and we worked very hard on it too, and it turns out that the train was made of French PC parts that Gordon Ramsay uses, but it had too many engines, so it would barely move when fully loaded, but when it was empty, it'd rocket end to end and break apart, so we decided we needed a specific number of people on it, and then there was some conspiratorial guy in the group who was a good programmer, but helped us make the thing, but he was really obsessed with eating babies and satanic cults, and I yelled at him, why do we have to eat children? Do you think we all just should eat a baby every day? And then he was very smug about talking to me, and then the sunlight came up, and our deal with Nintendo for the Paper Mario thing was done for $92 million on a contract, which was less than the $100 million our team wanted, but whatever, we were all going home, and I decided to watch our part of the game in an adjacent movie theater, but before I go, I woke up the end. Great. I'm just reading things. I had a dream where I moved out of my apartment, which was now a shared college dorm room, and I packed together the more embarrassing cosplay and other shameful things first. But when I went out to get the next load of stuff to move out, apparently my other roommate said they were done with the dorm and locked it up, and all the remaining stuff was removed, and I was sad my important junk was gone. This one just said, I had a dream I hired 2 prostitutes to the lab. It says, I declined any sex because I just wanted to hang out with them. Unfortunately, it was a day where where everyone else on the planet wanted to talk to me, like old coworkers, friends who moved away, etc. It was just me hanging out with these prostitutes and everybody getting the wrong idea about it entirely. We just hung out in my garage, but everybody kept messaging me about why did you hire these people, and then they were saying they were all very disappointed in me. The end. This one says, I had a dream about some scary game thing that was half scary and half an unsettling psychological horror thing, but also a roller coaster, and I got to the midway point where everybody had to shoot up drugs to experience the rest, but I was too afraid of what came after, so I bailed. This one said, I had a dream I was on a boat that was sinking, and I was going to be totally sunk in an hour, and we'd all die, but we jerry-rigged it back together using the parts of it. In parentheses, I wrote, it's one of those huge container ships, and maybe there were aliens involved that came to make sure that we were all dead, and it was all very thrilling and kind of scary. And I eventually found my lab in the ship and was raiding the freezer for reagents that I needed and barely finding any to complete some vital overdue work experiments. This one says, I had a dream I was finally streaming and I had to step away from the PC for a minute, and there was a site that had logged all of my Oregon Trail playthroughs, but it was also sort of racist. I don't know what that means. But when I stepped away, I went to take a shower and then started bleeding everywhere, which freaked me out, and then my dad walked into the bathroom and I was all, no, don't look, as I tried to clean the blood off the shower, and I did eventually, but I still had the stream running on pause and nearly everybody left, so I got up and turned it off at the end. There's a lot of these that I can't actually read. Let's see. Do I remember this one? Oh my god. I forgot this one. This one I wrote on Sunday? I had a dream I had to go back to high school for another year even though I had graduated college and stuff by then, and it wasn't a big deal because all my friends were there, so whatever. And since I moved, I asked the teachers, or I'd asked if they could bring the teachers to my house, and they said no. Also, my teacher was now a wolf, and my parents were also wolves, but I wasn't. Then I asked, oh yeah, this dream! Oh god, this is real weird. So then I asked, okay, I guess I'll just drive half an hour to high school, whatever. But I said, if you're gonna make me drive back to high school, can you make something new there? Can you have an incentive for me to go back and have it be worth it? And considering that it's from my original high school run, can you make it period appropriate? So now all of a sudden, I guess my high school is run by Nintendo, and they think for a second, and then an infomercial starts. Except I misspelled infomercial, and it says infomercial, and then I say infomercial. And a Sega Dreamcast rises through the floor with a Namco logo on it, and ants start pouring out of it. And it shows ants in various stages, just reading the quote, it shows ants in various life stages and shit, which is what I wrote. Ants just running around inside the Dreamcast, held in by a screen around it that was like a little carry case. That was the incentive. It was a new game by Namco that was just an ant simulator, except it was real ants, and they charged just $0.25 for it, and they whipped up some new Dreamcast content really fast. And that was their incentive. If I go to high school again, they'll give me this ant game. So I agreed, and the game ended up being massively popular, and it turns out everybody was loving playing with ants and was transfixed by them by like a day or so. I guess that's it. Then I drove home, and it was dark and raining a lot now, and I realized that all the people at my high school are much younger than me now, and it's kind of weird. Anyway, Nintendo does it again. This one says, I had a dream I made a new weird clingy friend who had a problem about eating a lot of food and pooping it out everywhere because he enjoyed it. And then this was some awful hellscape world where all the toilets were disgusting and occupied and mostly broken and the lines for them were massive. It was bad, there was so much poop. I had a dream about having trouble sleeping and really wanting nachos. I had a dream that I failed a bunch of standardized tests, then I left school early, and I was moving a bunch of Easter Bunny eggs around that were put on my lawn for the Easter Bunny egg hunt component of the standardized test because screw everybody else, I already failed. Then I went back to my house and I was tackled by 2 Easter Bunny costume people who weren't wearing the Easter Bunny mask. This one just says, I had a dream I was committing voter fraud in the UK. Okay. Oh my god, why is this so long? I had a dream that I was in a weird nice hotel conjoined with another room and we had to finish writing and acting out this act of Star Wars we were making up just to graduate. It wasn't that exciting, but it was a long dream. It ended with my hotel room being a horrible mess and desperately cleaning it out an hour before checkout. I think it was for work or school or something, which I hadn't been going to, so I had a sense of dread about it all. I met some classmates and we opened up an oxygen cylinder to get high, and some chunky dude who nobody liked was going to open it, and it exploded and his face melted and turned green like Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie. Then I ended up on a subway or something that took me deep underground, and we constantly had to take different elevators up 10 floors to leave as dodgy people kept trying to sell me stuff or hit me up for money. I forgot how our bit of Star Wars ended, but I think it was a bit of weird absurdism where we all got sucked into a black hole, and that eventually transformed into something that was a cliffhanger. None of this was exciting or noteworthy, I just wanted to share it so I didn't forget. Also, my grandma was at the New York City car show, and we were going to meet her after our Star Wars act was done. I had a dream I was wandering around an old... I had a dream I was wandering around an old mall, and it was also maybe my college, and it was falling apart, and Intel was making a new series of processors called Outtel, and everybody was talking about them and was worried that they wouldn't run YouTube videos or some garbage, I don't know. The building was also kind of collapsing, which seemed like a bigger issue. Outtel is pretty good. This one says, I had a dream my dad killed himself, also my butt was really poopy, and then I couldn't get the poop off. I wrote those words down, yeah. Here's the exact quote. That was my dream. I just wrote it down as it came to me. How do I remember the dreams after waking up? I mean, that's not an especially hard thing. I have like a half-hour window, I think, after the dream happens, where I can more or less remember everything. But if I wait longer than that, it's just gone. which is why it all seems very rambly, because I just want to get it down somewhere, so I don't have to worry about it. Not like I need them for anything, although outtell is pretty funny, I think. No, I didn't have any more bee-related dreams. Well, the suicide was not as traumatic as having a poopy butt, I guess. When are they gonna deliver my messenger bag? Ugh. I bought a new one because I stepped on the hinge, or the clasp of my old one, and it broke because I'm a doofus. I've been trying to glue it back together, but it keeps breaking off, and then like the whole thing falls apart. Here's a picture of what I ordered. It's incredibly stupid, but it made me smile when I got it, so I ordered it. Don't judge me. Yeah, that's the bag. I don't know, it was kind of endearing. I feel like my life needs more whimsy anyway. Where's my phone? There it is. Oh. I guess that'll work. Oh god. It's weird. Sometimes I zone out when I play this and I end up thinking a lot about when I first played it. Like 2013, I think. It was a very weird time. Also a very good time. And then I got really sad. The end. Oh well. Messed that up. Too many greens. I'm worried I'm not actually gonna go back to sleep at this point. I guess if I'm really desperate, I could just stay up and play Monster Hunter or something. Grind out some new clothes. That's probably part of it, cool man, to be honest. Not like the vast majority, but it certainly doesn't help. Yeah, well, the thing with Monster Hunter is that the core gameplay doesn't seem especially exciting, although I haven't experimented with that many different weapons. But the multiplayer is kind of fun, and I kind of just want to get better outfits. Just like half my motivation for playing. Which I guess says a lot about me. Okay. Oops. Oh, what NVIDIA card crashing issue? I haven't heard of that. I have an NVIDIA card, it's been fine for me. Been playing World of Warcraft since yesterday morning. Why? Why can't you play a good MMO, like Fly for Fun? Also, God, I swear it's impossible to make yourself in any of those character creators. Later then, Ta. Thanks for watching. Time to sleep so you don't get fired. God, I am astounded still that I have not been fired. I almost got fired at the end of last year because I was a very unproductive, depressed mess, but eventually started getting good data, so now we're all happy. That was not fun though. Ugh. It's the most uncomfortable meetings I've ever had. Still sweat every time I go into my boss's office, even if it's just for like, hey, how's stuff? Yeah, I could get fired. I mean, it's a job. But just lucky that I met a couple people there who became friends and helped out with a lot of stuff, and then I got good data and stuff got better. Well, the problem was that the science I was doing was really bad, but it was also very much my fault for not being like, thorough enough, because when you're super out of it, you're not really giving it all of the attention that it needs. Not like that's a great excuse, but it's the only one I've got. I don't do classwork anymore, I just do lab work. I haven't had class stuff in a while. Since I passed my synaptic class, I've been more or less finished. Oh god, I remember when I was prepping for my oral qualifying exam. I did a mock one with my boss, and I'd gotten a very basic question wrong. Oh god, I felt so stupid. It's like, I can't believe you don't know this. It's like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm dumb. What do you want? I don't know things. Nah, I can't teach. We don't have any undergrads. It's only graduate students and medical students. You can never see me getting in trouble. Well, it's not because I necessarily did anything wrong. I didn't, like, steal and plagiarize. It was just a sad, depressed mess that was not getting good progress or good results. Yeah, I have to write a thesis. I'm doing an important experiment for my thesis now, but it's not super, it's not at the super vital stages. I'm just in the